Nervous, nervous, nervous. Wait! We just leveled. We just gained 20,000 XP. Alright. Invocation, what? The chanter summons a collection of ancient weapons to attack his or her foe. 7 phrases chanted, and summons an animated greatsword, pike, and warbow. Oh, why did I get this earlier in the game? I might get to use it one time on the final boss fight. That sounds so cool. I've been thinking about this for a while. Let's get Veteran's Recovery. So he'll have, like, crazy healing. Alright, Kana. Survival. Same thing. I didn't even really look at this. What was this? Foe AoE, damage, corrosion, poison, dots them. Alright. I like giant weapons. Gosh, it's for like one freaking fight. Let's just get regeneration. Who's last? Grieving Mama. Hey, Grieving Mama. The stealth we never use. Reaping Knives. Oh, that's... Alright, I remember that. We're not doing that. Yeah, that's fine. Wound binding. I hope I get to see those floaty weapons. I want to see them. I'm immediately thinking of that phase of Kael'thas boss fight, the first Kael'thas boss fight that was in World of Warcraft, where you fight all the floating weapons. All right. Yeah. When does the party start? Yeah, XP bar just stopped. Oh, I didn't get a chance. I was gonna say, how close were the others to level? If I had turned in the freaking bounties, would everybody have leveled? You've come to a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with Audra and trimmed with copper. At the far end, a great pillar of Audra pierces the floor from below like a ragged spike, its shimmering texture giving the illusion of boundless depth. Your thoughts are yours and not yours, and they are all questions. At the base of the pillar stands Theos, a look of concern on his face as he notes your approach. You have something you want to ask him, one question above all others, spinning madly in your mind, but you don't dare ask it yet. You need some admission from him first, some hint of the veracity of your suspicions. Is this current, or am I reliving the past again?
You are far from your post, Inquisitor. What brings you here?
Let's go big. Was the entire Inquisition based on a lie?
The Inquisition was based on the need to cut the flesh from a rotting wound.
Was Iovara telling the truth?
That woman sought only to destroy the foundations of peace and civility that my people sacrificed everything to build.
That machine behind you, what does it do?
It has many uses, but its purpose is to bring structure to the chaos that surrounds it.
And these statues, who are they of?
They are monuments to Woodika's greatest servants among my people. I hope to join them myself one day, but my work is not yet complete.
And what is this place?
We are in a sanctum holy to Woodika. There are others like it in service to the other gods. I come here often to pray for her counsel, and in this space I may be assured that she hears me.
You are shaking now, having lost all patience for tact. No more evasions. You have to know everything you believed, everything you've done for the gods. Did you lie to me when you said the gods would absolve my sins? That was my big question. What did my past self do? He says nothing. Are there no gods? His face remains...
What is a god?
Okay.
A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked? Something men can turn to in their darkest moments when their days seem only like bridges from one tragedy to the next. Our gods are all these things.
Ahem. Are there no gods?
We are in a sacred place within earshot of the gods themselves. This is not the time. You've been through much these past few months. You will return home and you will rest. When you feel you have recovered, you may rejoin us at the trials. The Inquisition is far from over, and I will have need of you. There are many who continue to spread the lies of the apostate. The Inquisition will not end until we have pronounced judgment on all of them.
His eyes linger on you, and there is no mistaking the threat behind it, and your rage shrinks at the image of an iron wheel in your mind, monolithic and caked with the dried blood of thousands. You do not ask your question again. Oh, it positioned my party, so I can't, like, change how my party was set up.
How did you find it?
I just remembered at the end of Act 2 when he, like, jumps between different bodies and stuff. I'm expecting him to jump between my party members' bodies, and I really hope he doesn't. I didn't. It was Lady Webb.
Another in a string of acts of petty defiance. For all her knowledge, she always preferred spite over reason.
She loved you.
Then she should have obeyed. I ask one
That's not how that works.
All my followers. She was incapable. A waste of rare talent and intellect.
Her talent and intellect were too great for her to live as your servant.
What of your cohorts, then? They have followed you to their deaths. Is it loyalty that brings them here? Or is it as my
It's my rugged good looks.
that they have no direction of their own? You have devoted yourself to studying the work of my people. Why?
I thought your people had much to teach us. That we, too, could create great machines, improve our ships, make an empire as vast and impressive as yours ever was, built upon your secrets.
And did you ever consider that these were things you were never meant to understand? That their comprehension is beyond you?
I know better. The Engwithans weren't an infallible race. You were never gods. All your petty experiments, your heinous crimes, your glorious achievements, you were just people, and your time came and went. Engwith is a lesson now for those who remain.
You are living in the time of my people, Amawa. You
That's
owe
pretty well
them
said.
more than you will ever comprehend, and so it shall ever be. Greater civilizations than yours have attempted to reclaim what we buried. The greater their successes, the worse their fates in the end. I have seen to it. You are here because you are lost. The gods cannot reach everyone, I'm afraid. May you fare better in your next lives.
He directs his gaze at you.
I gather you have had your soul awakened. Why else would you shadow my footsteps like some stray mongrel? You think I have something to offer you, but our business was concluded long ago.
One of us is going to die in this room. You may as well admit your lie to me before that.
I answered your questions once. That your soul is not fit to accept the answers is of little concern to me. I lied to no one. Not to you, not to anyone. The gods are real. They are everything we need them to be, and the world is better for it.
You denied an entire generation its place in the world.
The heart of this country has skipped a beat. Nothing more. I have done far worse. I plunged the peaceful kingdom of Tolosis into civil war. I slew the monarch of Desantio, whose people never knew hardship under his rule, and replaced him with a cruel despot who brought them to ruin. When plague arrived at the great city of Arborensis, I saw to it that the cure did not. They piled their dead outside the city in heaps that rose above their walls.
This is supposed to diminish the damage you've done?
It is to show the proper perspective. There was a time, Back when your soul was still a shapeless mist. When the world believed only in false gods. Thousands of them. Gods that told them to take slaves. Gods that told them to make war upon their neighbors and devour the slain. Gods that told them to burn their children alive
Getting a bit chilly.
and cover themselves in the ashes as a sign of their faith. But all that changed when they learned of the true gods. Our gods. All those misshapen, bestial instincts melted beneath the radiance of our God's majesty. You could see it in their eyes. That dull emptiness replaced with the glimmer of a kindled spark.
Teaching them they were no gods would have achieved the same purpose.
And replaced it with one far worse. Have you imagined this existence? The one the apostate would have created. We are not all so virtuous as she. Without our gods, the most wicked, the most tyrannical, they would take that power for themselves. But more than that, it would be a hollow existence. All mysteries forever unanswered. All purposes constructed from meaninglessness. No endings to bring closure. Only a wheel, turning without mercy, grinding our spirits to dust.
You underestimate people.
For all my years, I have seen exactly what they are capable of. What the apostate asked was beyond any man. All I have seen, the millennia of experience. I will not be dissuaded from this course. This is the only way.
You're blind to think yours is the only way. You're controlled by your own doubts.
We are all controlled by our own doubts. Better that we should be relieved of them. With your soul and thousands of others, I will see this world purged of its suffering. Hear me, Woodica. Your servant calls for aid.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. What's going on? Hello? Ah! Ah! Oh, no, 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 no giant demons. No. I decline giant demons. Oh my god. Alright. Are these giant demons? No, okay. Here's what we're gonna try. We're gonna try Muck charges the boss. Everyone else charges past Muck, allowing Muck to pick up the other two demons when they get to his back. Not okay with this. What is this guy doing? What? What? He didn't like that. I did something he didn't like. That must be good. Ow! What is that? Have you met my summon friend? Alright guys, we're gonna try the new invocation. Call to his bidding the ancient instruments of death. Let's see what this does. I can barely see him. So there's like 3 flying weapons there. Oh my gosh. She just got hit really hard. Well, those back two are dying from like the songs and stuff, so that's good. Are they healing him? Shields for the faithful? Let's try summoning the weapons back here and see what they do.
Thoughts were dull.
Ow!
Word a field unsung.
Come on, Muck, get the spell off! Get the GD spell off! Alright, so that's them. That's the flying weapons. Can I control them? Yes, I can. Animated pike crits for 16. Crit for 16? Greatsword grazes for 4. The pike interrupted it. Warbow hits for 7. I don't know if that makes them better or worse than ogres, honestly. The ogres are a lot... I can summon them much more quickly. Wait, is Theos invulnerable right now? Like, am I supposed to be working on the back two guys? I think that might be the case. Let's have all of you... Let's have all of you open fire on that guy. Oh, we knocked it down somehow. Oh! Who's your god now? Oh shit, what's he doing? I didn't mean it! I didn't mean it! No, he just full healed! You cheap piece of garbage! Alright, hold on. Alright, there we go. Surround him! Wall of ogre! Oh god, what the hell? What is... He has 3 debuffs and it doesn't say what they are. Oh, both my paladins are mind controlled? Wait, I can't control anyone. The entire party is confused or something? I can't control anyone right now. I think we're all murdering each other right now. Oh my god. Dominated for 11 more seconds. Cure that. Did that cure it? Yes, I can control him now. Jesus. Alright, you cure Lynn's. Do you still have the mind web up? Yeah, you do, for 20 more seconds. Okay. Alright, so we were all taking damage because he mind controlled us, and we were all beating the absolute snot out of each other. That's what it was. Alright, put a bandage on him. Is she mind controlled again? Goodness gracious, here. Alright, let's have you switch to crowd control, so I don't have to deal with that anymore. Please don't have another health bar. He's almost down. Lag, what's happening right now? Lay on hands yourself. Hurry! Freaking hell.
Bigger shares for the rest of us. This isn't working.
Is there a mechanic I'm missing? Like, what's full healing him over and over? And she never did the freaking bandage I told her to do like 4 turns ago. And Kana is now burning us all to death. Cure him. Alright, she finally did the bandage. You do bandage. Let's try Sever the Soul. Okay, it missed. That was awesome. Try this thing.
Wood and rope.
Dude. The level of fun I'm having right now cannot be described. So many mind controls.
Were they build and song?
Possibly one of those games would be easier to do the final boss solo. I can't heal him because he's MC'd. She somehow just instantly died after being rezzed and being at full health. Kill him!
Forgive me.
Oh, thank you, Wodika, or whoever my god is. Oh my gosh. At your feet rests the body of Theos, hollow and dense wrinkles shaped by the silent shouldering of an eternal burden now smoothed across his color-drained face. His soul remains still for the moment, defenseless, its energy expended in defeat. It lies sprawled across his body like a death shroud. Is stream lag? Hurrytron, I will say I was pausing and unpausing the fight a lot to stay in control of the whole thing. I don't know if that's what you saw.
All those lifetimes.
Beyond that, I'm not
spent
sure.
To preserve a single vital secret. I can't imagine having that much certainty.
Thousands of souls he has tortured. Would that he could live those sufferings 1,000 times himself.
Explore his soul. With a deep breath, you plunge into Theo's soul, and where in Brackenbury it had been a maze of narrow corridors and dead ends, it is now expansive and borderless, its walls crumbling into heaps like the ruins of Engwith as you pass through them. You travel for what seems like ages, rushing to a known destination, a memory you glimpsed once before. At last you see it, no more than a pinprick of light at the end of a long tunnel, expanding slowly at first, then quickly as you near. You come out in the room you are standing in now, but it is new and pristine and filled with people, thousands of them, all turned towards the great Audra pillar and the machine that encases it. Theo stands at the machine, and you are one with him now. You look out at the crowd, a face of shriveled old men and cherub-cheeked little girls, at mothers bouncing infants to quiet them, and fathers clasping their children's restless hands and watching you with somber acceptance. A woman with tears in her eyes gives you a small nod. You turn back toward the machine, your breaths constrict beneath the weight of unwanted knowledge, preparing yourself to set out alone on a journey without end. You close your eyes and open them again to find the machine still in front of you, beckoning. You take your place in front of it and place your hands upon a large mechanical disc at the base of the great crystal column and speak a single word. Giant rings creak to life, building speed, setting arrays of carved draconic mouths aglow and sending tremors through the platform beneath you. The entire room shakes now with the force of the accelerating machine, all sound drowned out by its deep, deafening thrum. Brilliant tendrils of light arc outward from the pillar in all directions, and you look over your shoulder to see them engulfing the crowd, burning them brightly like hot iron. One by one, the tendrils disappear, leaving ashen effigies where people once stood, many of them disintegrating into gray heaps under the stress of the tremors. You look above to the Ager pillar, and a glowing spherical mass has begun to coalesce atop the column where the arcs converge. It grows and pulses, translucent and bulbous like some immense chrysalis suspended in slow rotation, as though it were being spun from the arcs of light. When the last arc disappears, the spectral mass hangs a moment, no longer rotating, so bright you must shield your eyes with an outstretched hand, and it seems to you as though it is looking at you. You bow your head in acknowledgement, and look back up to see it melt into the pillar like warm candle wax. The pillar flares with a flash of light bright as the sun itself, then fades to darkness. The machine slows down to an abrupt halt, and when the last echo of its grinding cogs has passed, the chamber is still, and you are alone. From all sides, reality begins to bleed in through the memory, and you find yourself in your own skin once more, looking down on Theos' lifeless body. You see a listlessness to Theos' soul, an overwhelming fatigue that hinders its immediate escape and makes it vulnerable to manipulation. You feel as though your victory has given you some kind of hold over it, and you are able to do with it as you please. I feel like if I return him to the cycle, you will remember this. He's just going to do this all again. Two options to tear his soul apart. One to banish it to Briath Alman. I don't remember what Briath Alman is. Oh, that's like the jail cell down here. No, because if you banish someone, there's a chance they could get loose someday. You've been an absolute asshat to the world. Tear his soul apart. The world's better without you in it. You reach out for his soul, you feel its frailty and defeat, its texture like a coarse and threadbare cloth on the brink of disintegration. You insinuate yourself between the threads, pushing the weaving apart, unraveling the stitching, until it is bereft of structure, a formless heap bound together by nothing at all. In the midst, you dedicate your focus to a single idea, and the idea is shatter. You concentrate, and as you concentrate, you feel a force building within your soul, an outward pressure that strains against containment, threatening to rupture your spirit. When you can contain it no more, you transfer it to Theos' soul all at once and release it there, a detonation of will that expands in all directions, driving out the remnants of his essence, scattering it into nothingness. You can feel his presence no more. In the stillness that follows, a single word echoes through your mind, a word you spoke when you were one with Theos in an ancient memory. You realize that it is the word that activates the machine. Can I turn the machine off, though? What?
Certainly.
Oh, I should have saved. Damn it. I should have saved right then. Oh well. With your companions bearing witness, you step up to the place where Theos once stood before his people long ago. The great machine lies in front of you, idle, ready. You have seen this machine and others like it in operation. You understand how it works. It is a device for directing souls. As a watcher, it would be a simple matter to influence the direction, though as big as the machine is, it may be the last thing you ever do. Alright, speak the command. There's a shrieking of stone grinding against stone as old cogs loosen and begin to turn. You have only moments for the souls to be sent into the Adra vein. This will be your only chance at redirecting them. What did I agree? Okay, so I think distribute their essence to existing souls in the Deerwood was what I agreed with the gods. I mean, these are the souls of people that voluntarily let themselves get toasted. I don't know why. I'm not eager to bring suicidal maniacs back into the world. So I guess I'll do what I agreed with the gods to do. No. Zurin has a problem with that. These are the souls of the Hollowborn children? Oh, what? I thought these are the souls that the machine just gobbled up in the vision with the dude. Oh. Alright, well. So if I return them back to the bodies they were intended for, we're gonna have, like, 10-year-old kids with newborn souls. They're gonna be derpy, right? Like, that... If you've got, like, people that have, like, 30-year-old bodies with no souls, and it suddenly has an infant's mind, it's gonna be like a 40, 50-year-old man before it can care for itself. It's still... It seems more kind to let them reincarnate into new bodies. It's 3 and 4-year-olds? At the oldest? If that's it... Alright, return the souls to their bodies they were intended for. You close your eyes and expand your perception outward, taking in the immense totality of the tens of thousands of souls orbiting the chamber. Your grasp on the souls is tenuous, you find yourself fighting to keep them all within your influence, and you can feel them slipping away as the machine gains speed. Yeah, but I just found out they're not real gods, and I'm about to be dead anyway, so... Whoa. Oh, hold on. Let me... We just got two... I don't know if you guys saw it. We just got two achievements. We just got Path of the Damned and won the game. A brief moment comes when it feels as though you hold all of them at once, and their force is so great, it feels as though they will tear you apart. In that moment, you dedicate your entire being to bending their orbit, channeling their flow in a new direction. Please don't let me read for a minute so I can eat my pasta.
At your command, the ancient device became your instrument, spinning to life with deafening resonance and gathering up the swirling essence like thread on a great spindle. There, in the pale pulsing glow of the machine that set you on this path long ago, you summoned all your strength, focusing on your objective and blocking out all else. With a single concussive blast that rocked the chamber and sent you tumbling to the ground, you freed the souls from their stasis. Exhausted, your consciousness slipping away, your last sight was of the machine, dark and dormant. Then your eyes closed.
That was some very neutral writing. It didn't
After coming to and searching
say which
for some
ending I
time,
did.
you discovered the route Theos used to enter Sun and Shadow, and embarked on a long and arduous ascent back to the surface. You emerged in Ter Evron after days of tunneling through the rubble Theos had left behind, and when you stepped into the daylight, you were faced with a different Deerwood than the one you had left. At your direction, the souls diverted by Theos were guided back to the vessels originally meant for them. For the first time, parents of hollow-born children woke to the cries of their infants, and looked into their eyes to see them staring back. People fell to their knees where they stood, thanking Helia or Mogren, or even Aethys for their forgiveness of whatever guilt they felt they bore. But for all the relief that had come to some parents, others only found new grief. For
yeah, I was thinking about that.
Thousands of Hollowborn had died during Wideone's legacy, many by their parents' own hands. For those children,
oh
there
shit,
would be no homecoming. Yet the last Hollow birth
I didn't know about that.
now, and those parents willing to risk trying for a new child were frequently rewarded, often with twins. Many felt they saw Helia's hand in it, and the year would be remembered as the year of Helia's splendor. It is said that Galawain is the enforcer of the gods, and is known to hunt down those who wrong them. To wrong Galawain is truly to wake the beast.
Shit.
And the father of monsters took great umbrage at your broken promise to him. Along with Mogren and Abidan, Galawain embarked upon a more direct approach to claiming his quarry. In the months that followed, the frontier settlements of Deerwood were inexplicably attacked by packs of beasts and monsters, suddenly organized and unafraid to approach Kith on their own land.
No!
Many such villages were all but destroyed by the time troops could be dispatched from local garrisons.
Oh, God!
Those that weren't destroyed by the beasts of Galawain often found themselves at the mercy of the fires of Mogren. A dry spell throughout Deerwood led to a rash of forest fires on a scale not seen since the War
Dude,
of
these
Black
gods are
Trees,
assholes.
and many settlements paid the price for their proximity to the wilderness. In the cities, meanwhile, dabblers in animancy...
Dude, I thought I
placed
died
souls
so
into
they could have a
golems
happy
and other
ending.
moving vessels soon found that their creations had risen up against them. Such constructs terrorized their surroundings, killing indiscriminately and
Oh,
often in
Jesus
great numbers
Christ.
before being subdued. Though you had killed Lord Radric in his throne room, so strong was his
Oh, I
drive
never
to
went
rid
back
his
and
land
killed
of
Lord
the
Radric a
invasions
second
that
time.
he
Whoops.
returned to life as a death guard.
I
a
left King
deathless
Leoric.
crusader for his brutal cause. With the remains of his humanity
Shit.
stripped away, Radric came to see all the people of Gilded Vale as worshippers of Eothas. And one day, he led his forces into the village personally to see them all purged from his lands.
Oh my god.
Gilded Vale was left a hollow shell, its buildings ruined, and its people slaughtered. Even travelers and would-be squatters knew better than to take refuge in...
I do not want to import this game into Path 2 or Pillars 2.
Radric's hold,
I
where he
don't want
remained,
this.
keeping eternal watch over his barren domain. Following the assassinations of Duke Avar Wulfgren and Lady Webb, Defiance Bay was thrown into political upheaval. In the ensuing weeks, the streets had become the...
I
domain
got
of
the
looters
heroes
and
and idiot
blackguards.
ending,
Few
Ragnar.
dared to step outside their own doors alone or unarmed. But order was soon re-established by the Knights of the Crucible, who,
Yay!
despite their depleted numbers, had gained favor in the public eye for their role in the unraveling of the conspiracy surrounding Wydwin's legacy, and were quickly reinforced by returning forces from Fleetbreaker Castle. For the Knights, their resurgence marked a return to the tradition as well. Having seen firsthand the dangers presented by dabblers in animancy, the Order quickly abolished the practice internally, preferring the familiarity of their hammers and forges to the uncertainties of Essence and Adra. Their identity rediscovered, the Knights suppressed their political aspirations and began once again to train their recruits in the art of blacksmithing, recapturing the post-revolutionary ideals of Deerwood and regaining the respect of its citizens as a result. The destruction of the machine atop Ter Noaneth spelled the end of the reanimated corpses in Heritage Hill.
Oh yeah,
Though
I
at
did good
first
there.
Few were willing to venture into the abandoned district. It was soon cleaned out and rebuilt. The district's horrors still fresh in people's minds. It would be some time before it was fully repopulated. But eventually the lure of cheap prime land would all but erase
Cheap
the
prime
memory.
land.
The Duke's assassination at the apparent hands of an animancer had caused catastrophic rioting in the streets of Defiance Bay. But those who had escaped the melee in the palace hearings remembered the testimonies of the strange guest who had shown up that day and absolved animancy, implicating
Hey.
the leaden key instead.
I remember that handsome
The
guy.
rumor spread quickly, and soon the popular belief was that the assassin had been a leaden key spy. When the legacy had lifted, people came to see it not as a sign that the riots had been according to the gods' wishes, as Theos had hoped, but as a confirmation that animancy had never been the source of the problem in the first place. Deerwoodans instead convinced themselves that the riots had somehow purged Defiance Bay of leaden key spies, and that the
Good
end of
writing,
Wydwin's
guys.
legacy was their well-deserved reward. The rage against animancers was quickly forgotten, and those who had survived were permitted to return to Brackenbury Sanitarium and rebuild it so they might resume their studies. Abidon's renewal brought new vigor and purpose to a god long known for quiet, steady labor.
Oh, this is White March.
Handicraft saw a revival in the Deerwood, and no smith wanted for an apprentice. Additionally, Abidon's restored interest in preservation led to redoubled efforts to survey Engwithan ruins. Animancers and craftsmen alike found much to study, but tensions with Eir Glanfath rose. As for Stalwart, the Battle of Caeron's Scar only strengthened their resolve to unlock the mysteries of Durgan steel and build new marvels with the White Forge.
Good job, Stalwart.
However,
I
Stalwart's
helped.
ambitions brought them into further conflict with the Raid Serens.
No, I
as
thought it took
more
care of
and
that.
More impoverished communities gathered at the border and vowed to finish the work of the Iron Flail.
No.
It would be many generations before the region saw peace.
Gosh.
The battle
Children,
against the
please.
Iris left Stalwart more hostile than ever toward the ogres in its midst, and the villagers grew bolder as they grew more prosperous. After a handful of bloody skirmishes, the Flames That Whisper clan left the Russet Wood to seek a quieter,
wiped out that
more
clan.
isolated home
Don't
in the
lie to
White
me.
March. While many such places existed in the mountains, the crossing was treacherous, and the ogres often found themselves embattled with other clans whose territory they passed. Less than half of the Flames That Whisper survived the journey, but those that did found a haven far from Kith lands. Maneha never found the Salt Well, but she found a kind of peace in her duties as a gift-bearer, and in the ebb and flow
Oh,
of
is
her
there going to be an
journeys.
ending for every single follower?
As she traveled and accepted burdens from Andra's supplicants, she saw in their eyes a kind of peace that she had not previously noticed. It was faith, not that Andra had freed them of
Good, because
pain,
Andra
guilt,
was
and
a
regret,
jerk.
but that she would, a little more each year. With that realization, Maneha learned to accept that Andra's ways were as gradual as they were inexorable. The fortress of Cadnua emerged as a bastion of security in the midst of an untamed land, becoming the envy of every thane and earl in Deerwood. Legend grew over time of its impregnability, and stories of formidable invaders easily scattered by the keep's defenses became popular around the hearths of Deerwoodinians. Likewise, it also became a beacon to travelers, merchants, and visiting dignitaries alike. Reputed as the finest fortress in all Deerwood, people would journey from near and distant lands alike to experience its fabled hospitality and grandeur.
Yay!
Pallegina had missed the opportunity to complete her mission from the Duke's Bells.
Because she was a
The
terrible
Deerwood's
paladin.
trade with Air Glanfath
And I made
remained
better
weak,
ones.
but the Valian republics were unable to enter Glenfathan markets. For her repeated insubordination and loss of lucrative trade, Pallegina was cast out of the Brotherhood of Five Sons.
For repeated
She
insubordination.
traveled north of the Eastern Reach, where she tried to avoid trouble as a caravan guard, but she could not escape the strange looks and unwanted attention her appearance brought. Adair chose not to return home. Still conflicted as to his role in the Saints' War and unsure of his place in the Deerwood, he took a ship to Adir.
The
and
only
reunited with his
sidekick
parents.
quest I finished was
There,
Kano's. I
he
didn't finish
resumed
anybody
the quiet
else's.
lifestyle he had grown accustomed to in his years as a farmhand in Gilded Vale. When the dust settled in sun and shadow, Aloth looked upon the remains of Theos Ix Arcanon,
Oh yeah, you
his
exist.
former master. He saw
What?
where the Grandmaster had gone wrong, and he knew what he would
It was never revealed to me that
The
Theos
secret
was
of
his
the
former
gods would be
master.
preserved, and with it, the sanity and well-being of all Kith. He donned the remains of Theos's ceremonial garb and prepared himself for the long and lonely task ahead.
What?
With the Watcher's goals accomplished and his own vows fulfilled, Kanorua sailed back toward Rawatai, thinking on the lessons his travels had provided him. By the time he landed at Tekoa, he understood what his path must be. Standing before the Lore College, Kanorua explained that the tablet he sought had been destroyed, and so a true interpretation of the Tonvi Oratoa could no longer exist. The people of Rawatai would have to create their own.
I did not.
He described the many strange things he had
Did
seen
not
in his
attack
travels,
Durance.
and announced his intent to pursue the accumulation of knowledge abroad, seeking answers to new questions. True to his word, Kana soon set sail on yet another expedition, and in Tekoa, his passionate accounts inspired many to follow in his footsteps. With Theos defeated and the souls released from
Spooky
sun
mama.
and shadow, healthy children were born once again in the Deerwood. The grieving mother sought a place where she might do penance for the birthing bell.
What is the birthing bell?
She
I didn't.
returned to Deerford, where, to the astonishment of the villagers, she delivered the first healthy child in over a decade. She remained there, and with each new birth, she saw a measure of hope restored to the Deerwood.
I wish I had
and a
learned more
measure
about
of
her. I
grace
liked her as a
for her own
character.
troubled past.
But I didn't.
Durance continued to blame
misunderstood her
Woodica for the
quest.
atrocities of the Saints' War. Believing Magrin to have been a pawn in the machinations of the Queen that was, and feeling that Theos's expulsion had been a step towards reconciliation with his goddess, Durance tried for a time to reopen communication with her. When only silence came, he took it as a condemnation of his continued existence. Ultimately, he built a pyre and threw himself upon it,
What?
using his own shattered staff as kindling.
Dude.
You and Sagani never found Persok together. The Adra figurine had gone dark by the time they emerged from Sun and Shadow, and it was another month before Sagani finally accepted that Persok's trail had gone cold again. Her search took her beyond the Deerwood and as far as the Living Lands. She saw the great coastal cities of Rawatai and the ruins of Old Valia, absorbing the details of these strange and distant lands. 20 years passed before the Adra figurine finally glowed again. When it did, she followed its signal to a quiet hamlet on the outskirts of Adir. There, she met a young farmer and told her of her past as an elder of Mukluk. Sagani returned to a village that had forgotten her face.
So her
but
kids are like
remembered her
26
story.
years
Mukluk
old.
greeted her with cautious warmth, and Sagani found that their ways had become strange to her. She also learned that Kalu had perished of winter fever a few years before, and her middle child, Najuo, had died in a raid. But she found her daughter Yakona a hunter and mother of 3, and her son Malak a builder of mighty walls. In them, she came to find her place in the village, and the familiar contours
What about her
of a
fox?
world
It has
that
to
had
be
changed
dead.
in her absence.
Do foxes live past age 26?
For you, the death of Theos brought an end to your waking visions, and a silence to the whispers of the past. In their absence, you were able to sleep. The questions of a distant
that's not where I left his
lifetime
body.
ceased to
He
trouble
crawled.
your soul. All that remained was what to make of the answer. But at the moment, there was little to be done, and the matter would have to wait. A long journey loomed ahead.
If you did Sagani's quest, you followed Persok's trail and you eventually find him near where the dead lion was. Ah. Turns out he'd been reincarnated as a deer? What? So... Okay. So, when we were looking for Persok, he dies, and then when she found him 20 years later, that was after his next reincarnation. Wow. Okay. I feel like I did everything wrong. Like, I went against the gods' wishes. I basically set myself to damnation so that all the little chillins got their souls back, and we saved all the children. And the gods are like, no, those are our souls. And they unleashed, like, plague and famine and fireballs and wolf attacks and killed all the children they could. Like, the parents are like, yay, our kids are alive. Oh. That's really funny, Zura. Okay, that is the end of Pillars of Eternity 1 with the very, very wrong decisions that we made. We did, however, beat it on Path of the Damned mode on the first try.